On September 11, 2001, in one of the worst terrorist attacks on our nation, nearly 3,000 people were killed at the Pentagon, at the World Trade Center towers, and near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Those who survived were left with the heaviest of human burdens, mourning the loss of their family members, loved ones, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, fellow citizens. In the days that followed, these survivors began to rebuild their lives, businesses, and neighborhoods. For many, rebuilding included coping with extensive property damage, loss of income for families and small and large businesses, and creating meaning from the destruction. HUD was there with the state of New York in the beginning, helping the Empire State Development Corporation, ESDC, and its subsidiary, the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation, LMDC, launch an ambitious effort to remember, recover, and renew.
I knew many people that were lost in the towers. A friend of mine from high school who left behind 3 young daughters. And it had an impact on all of us. It brought New York City together in a way that it felt like a small town for months after that, unlike any feeling I've ever had about New York City in my entire time living there. But it was also something that I experienced as a public servant. My agency, Housing Preservation and Development, was responsible for cleanup of the site, of the whole, as we called it. And I saw a dedication, a deep, deep commitment to public service, unlike any that I'd ever seen. HUD has been absolutely central to the recovery of Ground Zero and the entire city. $3.5 billion of CDBG funding that's gone to help New York recover, helped to over 16,000 businesses, almost 250,000 workers have been helped. And there's also been thousands of units of affordable housing that have been preserved or built in Lower Manhattan, thanks to HUD.
Working with local officials, we removed as many regulatory barriers as we could to ensure a timely and successful recovery. New York received CDBG funds to help rebuild. The members of the CPD team should be commended for their exemplary role as public servants for working with LMDC in managing the funds to ensure the city meets its recovery goals. We also help local officials manage a vibrant and meaningful process to engage the city's residents. New York's engagement of its citizens was extraordinary. New York reached out to residents and business owners in a variety of language and forums to ensure that all voices were heard. I'd like to personally thank the CPD staff for their role in helping New York City in its recovery and rebuilding efforts. We all know someone whose life was affected by the events of that day. Now the names of those who lost their lives are there, etched in stone, to be remembered.
HUD has been central to thinking about this project and working about the project, and provided the resources to have a truly appropriate memorial and a plan which would allow Lower Manhattan to recover completely and respond completely to the terrorist attacks. I believe that the HUD process supported the revitalization and the growth of true varied American culture in Lower Manhattan, so that we see something now which is more vital than it was before, which is more vibrant as a residential neighborhood and ultimately will be more successful as a commercial neighborhood.
The progress we have made is related to the work and the support that HUD provided. The parks that we've created, the cultural institutions that have thrived, the residents that stayed and came back, and the businesses that grew. None of that would have been possible without the very substantial support that the federal government provided in the aftermath of 9/11. Today, just about 10 years later, one can see that the plan worked and that the memorial is about to open, the businesses are here, and the residents are coming. It's really terrific to see what New York can do and New Yorkers can do when everybody comes together to work together.
Public servants coming together and leaving behind any differences of perspective, differences of background or experience, and pulling together in one direction to help a city that had been bowed but not broken, a spirit of resilience that was just absolutely remarkable, unlike anything I'd ever seen. And that perhaps is my proudest memory of the work that HUD did, was to be part of this remarkable, remarkable team. And I'll tell you, New York City would not be back today if it weren't for HUD.